I believe in inclusiveness and anything that's not like let people be who people want to be and love who they want to love and be around who they want to be. And if someone's intolerant of that, I'm not a part of their conversation or their religion.
Beloved actor Bryan Cranston appeared on Rainn Wilson's podcast, and it was quite a conversation.
Must they run their mouths like that? Look, there might be a cautionary lesson in LeBron for kids. This is what happens when you attempt to leave high school a year early to join the NBA. Oh, and LeBron and Kevin, you're great players, but no one voted for you. So keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble. Remember this? Wilson and Cranston would, and use it as a point of reference for this next piece of video.
You ever struggle with the idea of shut up and dribble? I get this a lot. I get this a ton on social media because I speak up about issues that are really important to me. Yeah. Ones like racism, like climate change, income inequality, like, corruption in the U.S. political system, etc. And it's like, shut up, Dwight.
Yes,
shut up, sitcom actor.
I had an interview with Chris Wallace, and he was talking about race relations and things. And I said I thought that critical race theory should be taught in schools. I think it's essential that we become honest as a country and look at our race relations historically.
Yeah.
Unequivocal. I mean, you cannot deny that this had an immense influence on industry and banking and government and social services,
real estate
and jobs. We haven't come to recognize the importance and embrace our past in a way that allows us to step forward into a brighter future. And until we do, we're always.
Yeah, but there's a lot of folks who think, well, the Emancipation Proclamation was 1865. Get over it. Slavery's in the distant past. Like, will you just get over it?
I can think of one person recently who probably thinks this way.
You know who was the first race to try to end slavery? Well, what's controversial?
I'm very surprised.
This is an extraordinary exercise in historical revisionism.
I'm really surprised.
Do you realize that?
Jillian, I'm surprised that you're trying to litigate who was the beneficiary of slavery and who was not.
What I'm trying to tell you is that
in the context of American history, what are you saying is incorrect by saying that it was white people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And that's just not the truth. Like, for example, every single exhibit, I have a list of every single one. Like, people migrated from Cuba because white people bad. Not because of Castro. Yes, no, it's in there. That's what I'm saying. You don't actually know what's in there. Do you know that when you walk in the front door, the first thing you see is the gay flag?
That would be MAGA influencer and former Biggest Loser star Jillian Michaels.
You brought up,
but the whole point of this is that the issue
you brought up slavery, and you brought up the question of whether. You brought up the question of whether or not slavery in the United States is about race. The answer is yes.
I did not say
in the United States
don't straw man my argument because that's not what I said.
So what are you
brought
talking
up
about?
Slavery. And what I was talking about is that this isn't really about that. When you make every single exhibit about white imperialism when it isn't relevant at all, that is a problem. So when you're talking about Cubans leaving Cuba and you make it about white people bad, that's not accurate.
Can I just say,
that's my point.
All right, we're going to move on.
I was saying on the art.
So what do you say to a white guy who's like, well, it's not my fault. I didn't have slaves.
But white people did, and it's our country. And that's the thing. You have to, if you take pride in your country, you can't look at your country as the greatest ever when it has this severe bruise on it and will always wear that scar. And that scar will never heal unless we start to say, wow, what did we do?
I know it means literally nothing, but I reached out to Rainn Wilson in an effort to get him on this show because I have seen his posts from time to time, and he is very politically outspoken in a very good way. And his podcast is awesome, so I would absolutely love to host him and have a conversation with him. What Bryan Cranston is saying is true. And from the guests that I have had on my show, the Rick Strom Show on YouTube, is that this country continues to intentionally not learn about not even just what slavery was, but the way that the country used slavery in order to build up to what we have in present day. That's why Chris Rufo tweeting about critical race theory and even calling his shot on Twitter, saying that's what we're going to go after. And then they did, and then they succeeded, even though it wasn't being taught, except for law school. Like, there are certain ills that one can learn, and it will not lead to a direct correlation in hating, for example, because they love to play it up, a white person. It's simply history. You know, there's no way of going about teaching how the U.S. came to be without slavery. So what Cranston is saying here is spot on. And that's why the folks like Jillian Michaels drive me insane. Because it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that they would attack African American studies, African American museums, history departments. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. This sort of like white victimhood, because of the proponents and supporters of it did look like us. And for some reason, I don't know why so many among the electorate have bought into this, but they continue to play into serious insecurities of people who look like me without just reading about it and understanding what happened. Like, you are not to be blamed. You are actually being welcomed into the conversation to have a deeper understanding of how we got here. It's troubling, man. It's troubling, and honestly, it drives me kind of insane because it just doesn't add up to me. Like, read Teaching White Supremacy by Donald Yacovon, who I interviewed. Read more of his books. Just try, man. Because when we are able to educate ourselves, we will then have a greater worldview and even stateside.